I was once asked to chair a Government of India committee to draw up the guidelines against corporal punishment. So, in order to do that, I felt the committee should meet teachers and talk to teachers. So, in one of the discussions with teachers, we also discussed saying that corporal punishment happens, teachers beat children. There is also seen to be evidence that teachers beat some children more than others. Teachers use abusive language against children. They sometimes use caste language or religion. They may also taunt a child on a father's or mother's occupation. So we were having this discussion with teachers, and they said, yes, all this is true. What we need, the teacher said, was that every teacher has to write a declaration which is based on the Constitution of India, telling them that every child has a right to equality, right against discrimination, right against abuse, and if any teacher violates the basic constitutional principles, the teacher is liable for action. So there were these 3 or 4 teachers in one group. They came up with this as a suggestion. And that led to a big pandemonium in our meeting. So why? Because then they said, how can that happen? People can for cases against us. And then they said, I'm relating it to a recent issue in India, for which there was a Bandh also. That they said that under SC/ST Atrocities Act, if somebody is seen as discriminating or abusing somebody on the basis of caste, that person can be immediately arrested and is not eligible for bail. So teachers talked about that in some states that happens. But there was a huge debate. Most of our teachers who were either, whether they were SC/ST, I do not know, but some of them were very progressive teachers who said, no, we all need to sign a declaration that we stand by the Constitution of India and the principles of non-discrimination and equality. And if every teacher is made to sign something like this, then maybe this will stop. But again, the interesting part is that when we did a huge study on inclusion and exclusion, it was after this corporal punishment thing that the MHRD commissioned a study on discrimination, which you must have seen. There's a lot of difference in different parts of the country. It's not as if all discrimination is loud. A lot of it is very subtle. So you cannot nobody can catch me and say I was discriminated. I can say, oh, I did not pay attention because she is not interested in her studies. So we actually were able to see that there are very subtle forms of discrimination, where a teacher will not touch the book of a child when the child gives it. The teacher will say, "Ya rakh do," and then the teacher will do something. Teacher will not have physical contact with the child. There could be very blatant forms of discrimination, which could be that they don't allow SC children to drink from the water hand pump. So there are different levels. So my thing is that we need to have a dialogue with teachers on this. And we are not willing to have a dialogue. And whenever civil society organizations and researchers like us have tried to have this dialogue, we find that this community is highly polarized, the teaching community. But we need to have a dialogue to go beyond this. But I don't think all teachers do that. I'll give you one example. After the ABL program was introduced in Tamil Nadu, all teachers sit on the floor with all the children around them, children jumping on them, children touching them. So therefore, that pedagogy itself has released the classroom from any kind of segregation. The minute you have a pedagogy which says children will sit in rows, and you can actually put one group of children. But here in an ABL kind of pedagogy, where children are only grouped on the basis of what level they have reached in maths. They could be in a different group in math, they could be a different group in language, they could be a third group when it comes to something else. So, in fact, many people in both Tamil Nadu as well as in other places where ABL has been tried out, in Karnataka, in some parts of Andhra, they said pedagogically also you can help teachers overcome discrimination, because the teachers need to look at children, as babies basically, and not as an SC child or a ST child or a Muslim child or a girl or a boy. Everyone needs to be treated as a child equally. And I think without dialogue with teachers, I don't think we'll be able to move forward.